Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Sorry we're a little late, having some Discord camera problems. And I'm not the only one. My guest today has had problems. A friend of mine has had some problems. I'm thinking maybe Discord needs to take a look at their camera connections. If some of the rest of you had problems, let me know. So let me start out by telling you what we're going to see is a new aviation game that I recently became aware of, and I have as my guest one of the development team for the game. The game is called. Oh boy, nothing's going to work today. Okay, Airline Transportation Tycoon, and with me today is Nathan from Airline Transportation Tycoon. Every button I have is working slowly. Great. This will be fun. Nathan, say hello while I'm trying to get your video up.
Hello, everyone.
Why is this not working? It's stuck on a different button. Interesting. No, that's not the one I wanted. There we go. We might get this to work yet. There's Nathan. Notice the little blue squares. That's where I'm supposed to be, but that's not working on Discord. So you might not get to see much of my face, but that's okay. Nathan, I'm going to have you take us through the opening screens that you have, and I want to go through them kind of slowly and talk a little bit about. Not all of the buttons work, obviously. There's Nathan. Notice the little blue squares. That's where I'm supposed to be, but that's not working on Discord. I've got a loop, and I'm not sure. You might not get to see much of my face, but that's okay. Nathan, I'm going to have you take us through the opening screens that you have, and I want to go through them kind of slowly. Is that a delay from? About, not all of the buttons work, obviously. There's Nathan. Notice the little blue squares. I've got where I'm supposed to be. But, that's not working. Yeah, I'm not. Oh, I know why. Okay, I see. Much of my face, but that's Nathan, I'm gonna. There. Haha. Got it fixed. Now I can't get back to Discord though, can I? Wait, there it is. Okay. I had the stream feeding through, and I didn't want it to. I didn't think it was. Okay, show us if you can the opening screens of your game, and take it slowly so we can kind of see what else is going to be there eventually too, as we see what you have. Things that I don't want. Yeah, go ahead and oh, there it is. Okay, sweet. That's what we wanted. So this is a typical opening menu for a game, right? I don't see anything unusual there. That looks all pretty standard. So I think you can go through a couple screens starting a new game, right?
Oh yes. Obviously, this is just like a menu. Obviously, nothing of this works. Obviously.
Yeah. How
still working?
How different are each of those difficulties going to be? I mean, do we really want to start on normal yet, or do we want to do easy right away? Do you think?
Well, these don't really function. They actually don't function as yet. So it doesn't matter which you pick. It doesn't really affect the game.
Okay, but it will eventually.
It will eventually, yes.
All right, so there's the opening game. You get to pick your airline name. I know what mine's going to be. Mine's going to be Tenacious Airlines, of course, right? Now, this is interesting because I've played a lot of aviation games, and quite a few of them only have passengers yet. They don't even have cargo as an option. But you're going to have that going in. Yeah, which is odd to me because, to start an airport, you have to have a passenger terminal right away. Well, why can't you just put a building up for cargo and make some money that way? But they don't have that option. So I'm going to do both because I'm going to be kind of curious to see what the difference is and how much trouble I can get into with cargo, because I have no experience with cargo whatsoever. You only have a couple of options for airport name right now, down there, right? How many airports do you plan to have at startup? at
That's
release.
hard to say. Really. Probably say about maybe about 10, 20 different airports from different
Okay,
like countries around the world.
sweet.
To give it like both like domestic and also international flights as well.
Okay, and you've been having people suggest airports, towns. You can't use the actual name of the airport in a city
No, I
because
can't.
that's owned and controlled by the airports themselves. Same with airlines. You can't
Yeah,
use real airline names because, and I understand that. If I were running an airline and you were playing a game, say with me as an air traffic controller, which is a game I play a lot, you wouldn't want me crashing your planes. That's not good publicity for an airline. So I
yeah, of
understand that.
course.
I don't fault them for that at all. It's the same as farming simulator. They don't want you to use. You can't use. They won't use the names of real manufacturers of farming equipment unless they have permission to do that.
Yeah,
Because that's
which
just
also costs
yeah.
money.
It's just inviting a lawsuit.
Right.
Okay, I
A lot of it
think
we can't afford.
yeah, I think you have one more screen yet, right? Now, you got one of these buttons works, I think now, right or not? Am I wrong? You've
Both
got
of them actually.
the ticketing button. Is that? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the ticket button. There you go. So you can choose airports. So you're setting up flights for your airline, right here,
Yeah,
and getting ready to sell tickets and
yeah, that's right.
okay. And wow, you're going to have lots of choices there. Are you sure we can handle all those choices? I guess
That's
we'll
why I
get.
want my commencement, you know.
I guess we'll get used to it. It's part of running an airline, isn't it? Is making those decisions.
Yeah. That's
So
the whole idea about this game, that's the whole idea about, is trying to get like the players more in depth, like what's actually like with an actual airline, in the real world.
right,
So obviously we like look at research, we play different types of other airline games that are actually out there now, just to see what kind of futures that have they got. We add to our game, but also we add our own like ideas, what we think airlines might do. For instance, like if I run my own airline, for instance, I might start doing something else not every airline will start doing. So I've got like no competition.
yeah, yeah. Oh, will there be competition in the game? Competing
Yes,
airlines?
it'll be like AI competition.
Oh dear. that's that's going to be a challenge. I'm going to try something here real quick and probably I'm gonna just gonna put my camera up where it should be on Discord. There. At least the people watching the stream or the video later on will have an idea what this was supposed to look like. And that's basically all the farther you are right now, right? Go back.
Yeah,
Can you go
that's right.
back to that screen before, or do you have to? Yeah, show us what these other buttons are going to be along the side. Just kind of talk us through that a little bit.
So this side or this side here.
Oh well, both. You can start wherever you want, I guess.
So the basis of us also know what this is. I think it's basically your budget, how much money you got to spend.
Yeah.
And you got your reputation bar. Obviously, this is basically like it's affected by of the satisfaction levels based on each group. So you got the economy, premium economy, business, and first class. So every time like these improve or decrease, then obviously your reputation is actually affected by these.
Oh, okay. So that shows you the categories where your reputation is coming from, then, kind of.
Yep.
Okay. Sweet. Yeah, I like that. That's right there in front of you, and it's graphics, so you can glance at it and see. Okay, and then those other four buttons over there are going to do what?
Over here,
Yeah.
yeah. So basically, we're not sure what kind of like futures we actually add, but obviously, the whole idea was to try and make like more of like what information panels to show you like what could be improved, what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, etc.
Okay.
So you got your flight entertainment, your maintenance, your staff, and also your airline fees.
Okay.
So basically, like these like globe, like if something's like I don't know, then it's like fixing, these will go red.
Okay.
So basically, we're going to try and get them to function like a notification bar. So basically, these will flag up saying you got a problem, something's sorting out.
Okay. I've got a viewer who's wondering, who thinks this is Airport Madness Pro. This is not Airport Madness Pro. It's an airline um simulation tycoon game called Airline Transportation Tycoon. Okay, so those buttons across the top will basically tell you how you're doing at the moment. It's kind of what's happening right there. Is that a good way to summarize it?
Yes.
Okay, and then along the side is that building and decision making buttons.
Yeah, these bits like all your management side. So you got the airport management, your manufacturers, list of like aircraft, researching. That's a feature we've actually added, and also we added contracts as well.
Okay.
Basically how contracts would work in this sort of a game is that you sign a contract with hotels, taxi firms, and cruise ships by supplying them with passengers in exchange for profit.
Oh, that's an interesting. And I think, did I see something about some other opportunities to collaborate with other businesses as well as cruises?
So that's the idea.
Okay.
Because also, I'm surprised, like most airline games I've actually originally played, I've never actually, had this sort of opportunity to introduce contracts, that
Yeah.
works together for businesses. So,
Okay.
like in the real world, like, I've never seen any like packages saying, "Oh yeah, if you fly with so and so, here's an exclusive offer with this company, for so many nights."
Yeah. Okay. Airport CEO has contracts, and I think Sim Airport is using contracts too, and they're a little. You have to kind of get used to them. But I'm trusting that. Well, and this is going to be from the other side, basically, which is good because I really am bad at negotiating with airlines when I'm running an airport. So maybe I'll be better at negotiating as an airline with the airports. I hope. Okay, and
Oh,
so what's the okay? So we've got what's the dollar sign icon down there? That
that's the
one.
banks,
Oh,
loans and
okay,
stuff.
okay. Finances, yeah, all right,
And then
and
you got your
then
market. Also, that's your marketing.
okay,
One. Also, then this one here is based like in flight service and entertainment.
okay. Because you're gonna have to make decisions about what food you're gonna serve on board too, aren't you? In this game,
Yes.
yeah.
It
Okay,
also seems to go. It also seems applies with like in flight services. Like it's up to you what you provide your passengers. It could be like a low budget airline. You could be a luxury expensive airline. It's entirely up to the player what they decide to do. Either
okay,
way, like in the real world, you got to understand like if you're an economy person and you got first class, right? You got to think like what kind of like options do I need in order to maximize profits?
right, right. Yeah,
In
that's
like in words like you can't use expensive luxury items for a company. Yeah, sure, it comes like, oh yeah, this is lovely. And
yeah,
then first class for that, hang on, I'm paying all this money.
yeah,
You know, I
yeah.
thought, no, I'll go with a different airline.
How much room will there be for learning? Because we're going to make mistakes doing this. Is that if we make a mistake, are we going to go bankrupt and have to start over, or is there going to be a little forgiveness in the design of this game? I
Well,
suppose that'll.
basically we are trying to balance the whole idea. It's like every single year, what we actually are going to do, implement is a tax system, which also has to be manually,
Oh,
done by the player every single year.
okay, all
So
right,
like in the real world,
yeah,
we always have to
yeah,
pay our taxes every single year to HMRC or whatever, who deals with in your state or country. Obviously, you will get a notice in advance saying your tax is due. So when it's due, then you got to fill all the information in how much you earned, how much you lost, and also it'll calculate how much you actually owe.
okay,
And obviously, if that deadline's passed and you have not actually fulfilled your information that needed, obviously a few months after, you'll get a penalty notice. And if that's not paid, plus your tax, each month to a day, you're going to get charged.
Okay. What are the top 4 buttons then? Real quickly.
Which top buttons again?
Well, no, up here or over on the side here. What's this globe button? Yeah,
That's
that
the
one.
research.
Okay. Oh, okay. So you'll have a research tree.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the airplane is.
So basically when you start the airline, you start the very early ages when airline was first invented.
Oh, okay.
When planes came, like the first like lines of transport, for both passengers and cargo, that's the year you start. And the research tree gets unlocked like every year, but also the player has to research them in each of the years as the progress goes.
Okay. All right, and then the second one from the top on the side there is that doing some buildings. You have to build a hangar to start an airline, right? To store your planes.
Well, not really, no.
Oh, okay, sweet.
This one here is just basically a short list of like manufacturers and stuff.
Oh, okay. All right. All right, and then the sub menu that you've got, we see the ticketing one. What's the one above that?
The top one is the route planner.
Oh, okay. And then the one below ticketing is what?
The third one, that's the yeah, that's the airport slots management.
Oh, okay.
Basically, like when you actually get a gate, you need to tell the airport you're requesting to rent so many slots of a gate in their terminal. So that's what this one will do.
Okay. All right. Sweet. And now that's as far as you've gotten right now, and there's a couple of reasons for that, right? One is the money to do some more coding, and the other is making those decisions. You're being very deliberate in how you're putting this game together, and as someone who's played a lot of early access games and beta games, I kind of appreciate that, because I get really tired of investing hours into a game and then having them update it and suddenly your game doesn't load anymore. So you have to start over again. I also get really tired of, say, spending money building something or adding something to your whatever you're building, and then find out that that's not fully implemented, so it doesn't make you any money. So now you're taking that back, and so you go bankrupt and have to start over again. So I like that you're being deliberate about this. I saw you say on this, that you wanted to test everything as you built it and make sure it works well. And I like that about it too. I really do. So we see what you've got built so far, what you're starting. How did this whole thing start? How did you all decide to start to create an airline tycoon game? There
was like a lot of futures that seem to lack.
Okay. So,
and obviously, I don't know why.
So what so far, what do you see as the biggest difference between your game and others that you may have seen or that we may have seen?
Or is there anything in particular you want to ask? Or
well, I haven't recently played an airline tycoon game, and so I thought they were a little bit. Well, they were one extreme or the other. They were either a little too simple, or cartoony even, or else they were so complicated and so grindy that you spend 6 hours and you barely have your first plane ready to fly. I'm guessing that.
The most probably like certain airline games I've played, like the Airline Project, and that was like a free game that's due free now. Obviously, they're going to do a Kickstarter. Obviously, that's got some detail, but it doesn't go into full detail. Obviously, they actually are using real life airline names and real life like airports.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah, and also
Yeah.
I don't think they've got any permission to do it. And then you got like what the airline manager on Facebook and also on the App Store that's using all real names. So you got people saying, "Oh, it's pay to win." Also, I know one particular game it's pay to win. I think it's called Airline, or is it ACO? I think it's called. And apparently, what they're saying, like, what annoys me about that sort of particular game, even though it's in the web browser, is that it's paid to win, but it's on a global world. So
Oh.
the world will start at one particular year, and once it finishes, right, it basically reboots itself. So any progress you've made, it's gone.
Oh man. Yeah.
It won't be an ongoing situation. It
Okay.
will basically, it's like gone.
Okay. I have a graphic from your website that lists some of the key features, and since you can't, I'm probably not going to be able to see those. Let me just go down the list and see if that's. It basically says, have you ever wanted to run your own airline? Now you can with Airline Transportation Tycoon. You'll start in the early stages when airlines were the main way of travel between countries. You need to think about what type of airliner you will be. Will you be a short haul airliner, a longer haul airliner, or both? Would you plan to fly only passengers, cargo, or both? And then key features: mix and match your airline with passengers or cargo airlines. We've talked about that. I really like that option. Sign contracts with hotels, taxi firms, and cruise ship companies, and other offer their passengers the best affordable and luxury airline travel. That's a neat dynamic to a game that I don't recall seeing before. I think that's going to be it's going to add a complication, but it gives you opportunities too to make money if you're
That's the
struggling.
idea. That's the idea about contracts. The whole idea is that you're trying to support each other's businesses, in exchange for either reputation or money. Obviously, as an airline, your business is money. You know, they
Yeah,
got a transparency between your reputation, which is basically your priority. Because also, the higher reputation, the more you can charge. But the less of that reputation, you're going to start losing money.
yeah, yeah, and you have to do something to establish a reputation. Otherwise, you're
Like, well, it's like if you start a business, right? Reputation just doesn't start out the bloom, out of the box. You got to earn that reputation. So, like, when you start your airline, you're going to have to start marketing straight away. Your passengers won't start saying, "Oh, there's a new airline there. I'm going to see them now."
yeah.
Unless you start marketing it. If they're like, "Whoa, I've got a clue. This business is like non-existent."
Okay.
It's just like in the real world.
Yeah.
Unless you start marketing, no one's going to know about you.
Yeah, and they've already kind of made up their mind from the beginning, and it's hard to change it. Here's one I like: real life sounds of aircraft landing, taking off, and chat between the airline pilot and air traffic control. That's going
Yes,
to be
there's
hard
a
to
few.
do, isn't it?
It is. It is. Yes, but the reason why, because like most games do sound boring when there's no like sound effects to make it as realistic as possible. So like
Yeah.
when you're sitting at home, with your headphones on, you're trying to enjoy a game. There's no atmosphere.
Right.
So the whole idea about that was to create the atmosphere of being in your own airline.
Yeah.
From your actual home or
Yeah.
work or office. It's trying to bring the airline experience to your sofa.
Okay. I missed one. Make your own cancellation rules for people who cancel their flights with you. Yeah, you have to have some way to hold people to the agreements, and as
Yes. Yeah.
playing airport management games, I have several airlines that are never very happy with me because I can't get planes to get out of the gate so that there's room for the next one, and
Mm.
yeah, they get upset. Random events such as late flights, bad storms, and cash flow issues in the airline industry. Now, I like the first two. The cash flow issues, I'm a little concerned about because I played some games. Banished is one I can think of. I played a lot of Banished, and you'd start
Yeah.
this colony, and you'd have everybody eating and great, and you'd start to expand and do some other things, and all of a sudden something goes haywire, and either all the food dries up or something else bad happens, and suddenly you're losing money and you're losing people, and you didn't do anything, and you don't know why it happened, and then you're scrambling to try to save the game, much
Mm.
less make advancements. So you're not going to throw anything in there too arbitrary about cash flow issues. Only the ones you create yourself, right?
Well, there's that, but also, like I said, the whole idea about random events was like anything, can actually happen. You just don't know. You won't expect it.
Right, right. You have to be prepared.
It's like in the real world.
Yeah,
But you gotta be prepared for something at least. It's
yeah,
like what to say if your flight gets delayed for whatever reason, and it has to get diverted. And you got passengers who are stranded somewhere. You're gonna have some sort of backup on station to do something about it.
right.
I mean, what to say if your plane somehow crashes and survives? But your passengers are stranded. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Ooh, yeah. I've often thought I'm glad I don't work for the airline when something like that happens. I have some stories about flying east during Christmas in snowstorms. Yeah. And then finally, sandbox and career mode. I like that. That'll give us a chance to play around and try all the features, and then actually get serious about building an airline. And I like that it's going to start kind of at the beginning. I think that's going to be interesting and a lot of fun. Where will this be going? I'm gonna play here a second. What do you see as? I guess we've talked enough about what the final game, kind of what your vision is of the final game, and you're targeting sometime next year for release, correct?
Well, that's if we can. But again, depends on the finance side of it.
Okay, and that's a good time to get into that because you need that. Coders are in pretty high demand these days, and they're not going to code for you unless you can either promise them something, or give them something. That takes money. It takes money just to do what you're doing, and the graphics, the artwork is something I had never thought about in developing a game. I learned about that from Roger at Big Fat Simulations, who makes the Airport Madness series. He's had to work, to get some artists on board to help him. Fortunately, he knows some people who are excited about the game, so they'll help him out. But it takes money to do that. It takes money to develop it, and that's kind of what your focus is right now. Is trying to get the word out and make people aware of it. And also to raise some money. I put in the description of this stream links to your Discord and links to your Patreon. But I guess make whatever pitch you want for Patreon first, and then I want to talk about Discord a little bit too after a bit.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
So the money's there. Go to the Patreon page. You'll learn about that. Discord you're using in some interesting ways. I've been enjoying being a part of that. You're inviting people to suggest cities for airports, and then suggest a name that isn't a real name. You're inviting people to help choose the menus for the meals. And other airlines perhaps that might be part of the game. You're really involving people in a lot of the details of the game, and those of us who are on it are having fun talking about other aspects of both Tycoon games and airlines and aviation games as well, and that's been a lot of fun. That's also seems unusual for me as something new. I haven't seen a lot of game developers do at this earliest stage, opening up Discord to any ideas that people have for the game. Is that working out the way you'd hoped?
Well, that's the whole idea. Because like most game developers, doesn't matter how small or how big, the community is always, saying to these developers, we want some futures like this, like that, and like this. And those they will say, oh, yes, don't worry, we'll add it. When the game comes into early access, the things been added. when it gets into full release, nothing's been added.
Yeah. Yeah, it's too late when it's
So
fully released.
that's the reason why the whole about my game. That's the reason why I created Discord was to get everyone to work together and tell me what they want to see in the game. You know, but
Yeah.
they're going to understand, right? There's limitations to what I can actually input to the game. Also, I got to follow the Steam rules, but from game development. Also, I got to try and think, well, is that something realistically, in the airline industry?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, you're going to you're going to have a lot of work to do to pick through all of those ideas and figure out which ones you can implement and which ones would impede gameplay, which ones would enhance it. So I don't envy you that task. um, I think that's all the things that I really wanted to cover. What haven't I covered that you want to say about airline transportation tycoon?
Or the fact, obviously, I've been asked, would it be like actually online multiplayer and stuff like that? Obviously, there will be, but same again, it's the finance side of it.
Okay, all right. So anyone who's interested, join that Discord, get involved in the conversation, and if you're independently wealthy and want to support the game, you check out the Patreon page and help them out, help them get started. I am really interested in the game. I think it's a different approach to other airline strategy games, tycoon games that I've seen, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to be following it closely, and I expect to be a part of helping to launch the game when it's ready to do that, and share it with my subscribers and viewers. And I really appreciate you taking the time to visit with me about this new aviation game. And when we get when you get some other things going and have added some more things, maybe we can do this again. You think?
I'm sure thing, yeah. People obviously, that's the reason why I created Discord is obviously, yeah, because the reason why I created Discord was obviously to try and get people to get awards as well. So like every time someone joins the Discord channel, just get access to the base